The Ancient Coffer of Nuri Bey. Nuri Bey was a reflective and respected Albanian who had married a wife much younger than himself. One evening, when he had returned home earlier than usual, a faithful servant came to him and said, "Your wife, our mistress, is acting suspiciously. She is in her apartments with a huge chest, large enough to hold a man, which belonged to your grandmother. It should contain only a few ancient embroideries. I believe that there may now be much more in it. She will not allow me, your oldest retainer, to look inside." Nuri went to his wife's room and found her sitting disconsolately beside the massive wooden box. "Will you show me what is in the chest?" he asked. "Because of the suspicion of a servant, or because you do not trust me? Would it not be easier just to open it, without thinking about the undertones?" asked Nuri. "I do not think it is possible." "Is it locked?" "Yes." "Where is the key?" She held it up. "Dismiss the servant, and I will give it to you." The servant was dismissed. The woman handed over the key and herself withdrew, obviously troubled in mind. Nuri Bey thought for a long time. Then he called 4 gardeners from his estate. Together they carried the chest by night unopened to a distant part of the grounds and buried it. The matter was never referred to again. Food and pens. Once upon a time, and this is a true story, there was a student. He used to go every day to sit at the feet of a Sufi teacher, to take down on paper what the master said. Because he was so fully occupied with his studies, he was unable to follow any gainful occupation. One evening, when he arrived home, his wife placed a bowl before him, covered with a napkin. He took the cloth and put it around his neck, and then he saw that the dish was full of pens and paper. "Since this is what you do all day," she said, "just try to eat it." The next morning, the student went, as usual, to learn from his teacher. Although his wife's words had distressed him, he continued to follow the accustomed pattern of studies and did not go out looking for a job. After a few minutes writing, he found that his pen was not working well. "Never mind," said the master. "Go into that corner and bring the box you will find there and put it in front of you." When he sat down with the box and opened its lid, he found that it was full of food. Saved his life. Nasruddin, when he was in India, passed near a strange-looking building, at the entrance of which a hermit was sitting. He had an air of abstraction and calm, and Nasruddin thought that he would make some sort of contact with him. "Surely," he thought, "a devout philosopher like me must have something in common with this saintly individual." "I am a yogi," said the anchorite in answer to the mullah's question, "and I am dedicated to the service of all living things, especially birds and fish." "Pray, allow me to join you," said the mullah, "for as I had expected, we have something in common. I am strongly attracted to your sentiments, because a fish once saved my life." "How pleasantly remarkable," said the yogi. "I shall be delighted to admit you to our company. For all my years of devotion to the cause of animals, I have never yet been privileged to attain such intimate communion with them as you. Saved your life? This amply substantiates our doctrine that all the animal kingdom is interlinked." So Nasruddin sat with the yogi for some weeks, contemplating his navel and learning various curious gymnastics. At length the yogi asked him, "If you feel able, Now that we are better acquainted, to communicate to me your supreme experience with the life-saving fish. I would be more than honored."
"I am not sure about that," said the mullah, "now that I have heard more of your ideas."
But the yogi pressed him, with tears in his eyes, calling him master and rubbing his forehead in the dust before him.
"Very well, if you insist," said Nasruddin, "though I am not quite sure whether you are ready, to use your parlance, for the revelation I have to make. The fish certainly saved my life. I was on the verge of starvation when I caught it. It provided me with food for 3 days."